Close your eyes and let your breath slow down. Tonight we journey into the hidden gardens of history, where sacred cults once whispered prayers to divine women. Their stories float across deserts, rivers, and temples, remnants of a time when the feminine spirit was honored as the keeper of life and mystery. In these hours together, we will wander through symbols carved in stone, songs carried by the wind, and myths that cradle the human soul. Gentle steps will take us across ancient lands, Mesopotamia, Egypt, Greece, and even the early echoes of Islam's mystical traditions, where symbols of the sacred feminine shine like soft stars in the night sky. This is not a lesson, but a lullaby of history. Allow the voices of the past to soothe you, as if they were waves guiding you toward rest. If these stories help you drift into sleep, let me know in the comments where in the world you are listening from. And if you'd like more journeys like this, you're welcome to subscribe and join our circle of dreamers. The night is quiet now. The air feels still, as if even the wind has slowed its breath. In the distance, the stars shine faintly, like tiny candles lit by unseen hands. You drift into this silence, carried gently by a timeless current. The story begins in the far reaches of memory. Before temples, before cities, before even the first spoken prayers. It begins with symbols. Long ago, when the world was young, human hands pressed shapes into stone and clay. In the flickering glow of fire, shadows danced along the walls of caves. On those walls, marks began to appear. Lines, circles, spirals. They were not words, not yet. They were whispers of awe. They were the first attempts to hold the mystery of life in form. Imagine a dark cave, deep within the earth. The walls are cool and the air smells of stone and earth. A small fire burns at the center. The flames are soft, feeding the shadows that move like living spirits. A figure leans forward, dipping fingers into red clay. Slowly, carefully, a circle is drawn upon the stone. A circle, like the sun, like the moon, like the womb of the mother. The circle is the first sacred symbol. It has no beginning and no end. It is the breath. It is the turning of the seasons. It is the promise that life will return. For those who painted it, the circle was comfort. It told them that though the night was long, the dawn would come again. Though winter was bitter, spring would always return with its green gifts. The people who made these symbols lived close to the earth. They knew hunger and they knew plenty. They knew the warmth of fire and the cold of endless winters. They felt the mystery of the sky above, stretching wider than the mind could hold. And so they painted, carved, and marked their awe into stone, not as decoration, but as prayer. In the darkness of those caves, the first prayers were not spoken in words. They were drawn with hands. They were carried in shapes. Each line was a whisper of the soul. Listen closely. The walls of time still echo with those first whispers. The sound is faint, like the hush of leaves in a night wind, but it is there. Among the earliest symbols were the figures of women, broad, round, soft. The artists shaped them from clay or carved them into bone, small statues held in the palm of the hand. They were not queens or warriors. They were mothers, symbols of life itself. Their bodies spoke of birth, nourishment, and the endless power of creation. To hold such a figure was to hold the mystery of existence. Imagine one of these figures in your hand. Its surface is cool, yet worn smooth by touch. It is small, yet feels heavy with meaning. It represents the one who brings forth life, the one who nourishes, the one who protects. In the stillness of ancient nights, people placed these figures near the fire, near the sleeping places, near the seeds they planted. They believed the spirit of the mother would bless their lives, their crops, their children. These were not gods in the way later people would understand. They were symbols, silent, sacred, and full of presence. They were reminders of the hidden forces that shaped existence. Look upward now, in your imagination. The night sky stretches above. The moon drifts slowly, silver and calm. For the ancient ones, the moon was a gentle guide. It measured the passing of time. It marked the flow of rivers and the cycles of the body. Its waxing and waning reminded them that all things rise and all things fade, only to return again. The moon was a symbol of rhythm, of renewal, of eternity. When the people looked up, they saw not only light, but meaning. The stars became patterns, constellations shaped like animals, spirits and guides. Each one was a story, each one a lantern to mark the way home. Symbols were not separate from life. They were life itself. A spiral carved into stone was the memory of rivers, the winding of paths, the turning of time. A handprint pressed into clay was not only a mark, it was a presence, a declaration. I was here. I belong to this earth. As you breathe softly now, imagine yourself walking through an ancient valley. The earth is quiet. The only sounds are the crunch of stone beneath your feet, the soft call of night birds, and the distant rush of water. On a cliffside, you see carvings, sun disks, crescent moons, spirals curling inward. You reach out and touch them. They feel cool and steady beneath your hand. These are the words of those who came before, not words written with letters, but words written with spirit. Each symbol carried the breath of those who made it. A message across time, across silence. Life is sacred. The earth is alive. We belong to something greater. In the stillness of the ancient night, around glowing fires, the people sat together. Stories were told, not in books, but in gestures, in drawings upon the ground, in patterns made with stones. Every story was woven with symbols: the mother, the moon, the circle, the spiral. All reminders that life flows, returns, and continues. Now imagine yourself among them. The fire warms your face. The stars above are endless. You hear the crackle of wood, the soft murmur of voices. A figure across the fire traces a spiral in the dust with a stick. The spiral turns outward, then inward, then outward again. You understand without words. This is the journey of life, the path of return. The spiral is not only in stone, it is in the shells of the sea, in the swirl of galaxies, in the turning of storms. It is in your breath, flowing in and flowing out. It is the rhythm of all things. The symbols of the dawn were not forgotten. They were carried forward, reshaped, reborn in new lands and new times. The circle became the wheel of the sun in Egypt, the halo of saints in later ages, the mandala of the East. The mother figure became Isis, Demeter, Mary, each one carrying the same eternal essence. The moon became a crescent on temples, a guide in desert skies, a reminder of cycles never broken. These symbols are older than nations, older than languages. They belong not to one people, but to all who have ever looked at the sky with wonder. Now rest and picture this: a cave lit by the dim glow of fire, figures drawn in ochre and black, a handprint pressed against stone. Beside it, a circle. Beside the circle, a small figure of a mother carved from bone. The sound of quiet breathing fills the air. The fire fades to embers. The night grows still. You realize that you are connected to those who came before, connected through these gentle symbols carried across time. They are in your memory, though you never learned them. They are in your breath, though you never spoke them. They are in your sleep, as you drift softly now. Let the circle cradle you. Let the moonlight guide you. Let the spiral carry you inward, into the quiet depths of your being. All is safe. All is steady. All is eternal. The dawn of sacred symbols is not only the story of the past, it is the story of the present moment. Here, in your breath. Here, in the rhythm of your heart. Here, in the stillness of this night. As your eyes grow heavier, know this: you are part of a story that began long before you were born. A story written not in words, but in circles, spirals, moons, and mothers. A story of life, returning always, renewing always. Rest now. The symbols will remain. The earth will hold them, the stars will guard them, the mother will cradle them, and you may drift gently into their embrace, into silence, into peace, into sleep. The night deepens. The stars above stretch wide and endless, scattered like silver dust across the velvet of the sky. A soft wind moves through the fields, carrying the scent of earth and distant water. You drift into this land of beginnings, where rivers carve life into dry soil, and the breath of the gods seems to rise with the morning mist. This is the land between two rivers, the Tigris, the Euphrates, the Fertile Crescent. Here humanity's first cities were born. Here, temples rose like mountains of clay. Here, symbols of power and love were etched into tablets, sung in hymns and carried by priests into the heart of the night. And here, the goddess Inanna, later known as Ishtar, was worshipped as queen of heaven and earth. Her name was carried on the lips of kings and shepherds, merchants and farmers. She was the star that guided and the storm that shook the ground. She was the fragrance of blossoming gardens and the fire of battle. She was the paradox of love and war, tenderness and fury. Imagine the temple of Uruk, her sacred city. Its walls rise like golden clay against the horizon. The great ziggurat towers upward, step upon step, reaching toward the heavens. At dawn, the first light of the sun spills across its face, while at night, the moon crowns it with silver. Priests move quietly through the courtyards carrying incense and oil. They chant softly, their voices rising and falling like the rhythm of breath. Inside the temple, the air is still and scented with myrrh. Golden bowls hold offerings of fruit, grain, and honey. There is music, gentle flutes, soft drums, strings humming like the voice of water. And at the center stands the image of the goddess. Her eyes are wide like the morning star itself. Her hair flows like rivers. In one hand she holds the branch of life, in the other the rod of kingship. Her gaze is both tender and unyielding. The people of Mesopotamia saw in her a mirror of the world. Life gives, life takes. Love blossoms, love burns. War destroys, war protects. To worship Inanna was to embrace the wholeness of existence, the beauty and the terror, the gentleness and the storm. In the hymns that drifted through the temple halls, she was called the Lady of Love. Her presence was the perfume of spring, the blooming of flowers after rain, the laughter of lovers beneath the moon. Her temples were places where music and joy rose freely, where dancing and feasting were offerings as holy as incense. She was the embrace of tenderness, the whisper of devotion, the breath of intimacy, yet she was also the lady of battle. Her star shone over armies. Her spirit rushed like the storm wind, carrying strength into the hearts of warriors. She was the lioness in the desert, fierce and untamed. Her hymns told of her clad in armor, her hands drenched in the heat of combat. To pray to her was to ask for courage, for fire, for the will to endure. The people did not fear the contradiction. They saw her as whole. For in life, love and war often walk together. Creation and destruction are bound as one. The goddess was not divided. She was complete. Listen closely, and you may hear one of her ancient hymns, drifting across the centuries like a lullaby of stone and clay. O radiant star of heaven, O queen of the morning light, you rise in beauty, you shine in power, you bless the womb, you stir the storm. The words are simple, yet they carry the pulse of devotion. The people sang to her not only with their voices, but with their lives. They planted crops in her honor. They built cities in her shadow. They fought battles in her name. And always they looked to the sky where the planet Venus, her star, rose at dawn and at dusk, glowing like a jewel. The planet's twin appearances gave her two faces. Inanna as the morning star, fierce and radiant, guiding the start of day, the rise of kings, the march of warriors. Inanna as the evening star, soft and tender, watching over lovers, soothing the earth into rest. One goddess, two lights, one spirit, two reflections. Her myths told of great journeys. One of the most sacred was her descent into the underworld. In this tale, she passed through 7 gates, surrendering her crown, her jewelry, her robes, until she stood naked and humbled before her sister, the Queen of the Dead. There she tasted death itself, but with time she rose again, returning to the world of light. The people understood this as a symbol of the seasons. The crops must wither, the land must grow bare before life can return in spring. The goddess descends and the earth sleeps. The goddess rises and the fields awaken. Her journey was the rhythm of the world itself. Close your eyes and imagine the descent. A long staircase spiraling down into shadow. Torches flicker along the walls. At each gate something is set aside. A crown, a necklace, a garment. The air grows cooler. The silence deeper. Finally, the stillness of the underworld surrounds you. But in the silence there is no fear, for the goddess carries within her the promise of return. She will rise again, and so will you. The myths of Inanna and Ishtar were not only stories, they were living truths, woven into the daily rhythm of the people. Each planting season, each harvest, each war, and each love was seen as part of her song. Her symbols, stars, lions, roses, were carved into amulets, painted onto walls, pressed into clay. To touch these symbols was to feel her nearness. Imagine now the sound of distant drums. The temple doors open, and the night air rushes in. The people gather, carrying torches. The light dances across their faces. They walk in procession, singing softly, their voices blending into one breath. Above them, her star gleams in the sky. It is not only light, it is presence. It is the gaze of the goddess herself. Through centuries, her name shifted, but her essence remained. In Sumer, she was Inanna. In Akkad and Babylon, she was Ishtar. Her temple stood in Uruk, Nineveh, Babylon. Always, she was honored as the heart of life's mystery. Her power reached far beyond Mesopotamia. Her star was seen in Egypt, in Greece, in the lands of Arabia. Everywhere the spirit of the goddess traveled, wearing new names, carrying the same eternal essence. The morning star, the evening light, the mother of life, the fire of battle. And now, as you drift in this story, you may feel her presence still. The contradictions of your own life, the tenderness and the strength, the joy and the sorrow, are not mistakes. They are the rhythm of existence. They are the breath of Inanna, moving through you. The Fertile Crescent may be far in time, yet its rivers still flow in your memory. The hymns may be silent, yet their echo still stirs in your breath. The star still shines, rising and falling, reminding you that nothing truly ends. All descends, all rises, all continues. Rest now in her embrace. Feel the gentle balance of her paradox, the softness of love, the fire of strength, the descent into silence, the return into light. The night is calm. The stars are steady. The goddess watches, as she always has. Her symbol glows above you. Her hymn lingers within you. You are safe beneath her sky. Let the rivers cradle you. Let the fields soothe you. Let the star guide you toward rest. Now drift onward, deeper into the night, deeper into the story, deeper into sleep. The night stretches wide, a velvet sky over an ancient river. The waters of the Nile move slowly, silver under the moon. Palm leaves sway with a quiet rhythm, and distant frogs sing in the marshes. You drift here, upon the banks of Egypt, where time slows, and the sand holds secrets of gods and mothers. The air is warm yet gentle, carrying the scent of lotus and papyrus. Beneath the stillness, stories stir, stories of divine mothers, of women who held the balance of the world, and who whispered peace into the hearts of kings and children alike. Let us step softly now into the realm of Egypt's hidden mothers. Their voices are not loud. They do not rush. They linger, like the soft hush of water against stone. In the first temple, lit by oil lamps, stands Hathor. Her crown is the sun between cows' horns, a circle of light resting gently upon her head. Hathor is the goddess of joy, of music, of dance, of love that soothes rather than burns. Her presence is like a mother's hand placed upon the brow of a resting child. The priests say she guides the souls of the dead, offering them sweet water as they journey into eternity. But for the living, she is laughter. She is the clink of golden bracelets, the beat of the drum, the sway of dancers beneath torchlight. She is also the sky itself, the wide mother who carries the stars upon her body. In her embrace, all beings are sheltered. No one is lost. No one is forgotten. Hathor teaches that life is not only survival, but celebration, that to sing, to love, to smile is also sacred. And so her temples rang with sistrums, with bells, with hymns soft as the flow of the Nile. Imagine yourself under her sky, the stars her jewels, her arms stretched across the horizon. You breathe slowly and feel her warmth settle upon you like a cloak of light. Deeper along the river, where reeds whisper, we find the name of Isis. Her symbol is the throne, for she is the seat of power, the mother of kings. Her story is one of devotion. Her beloved Osiris was taken, scattered into the lands of Egypt. Yet she did not despair. Piece by piece she gathered him. Piece by piece she restored life. Isis is the keeper of magic. With her voice she heals. With her hands she restores. With her tears she waters the fields of the Nile. When her son Horus was a child, she shielded him from scorpions, from serpents, from every danger that crept in the desert. Even today, her amulets are carved with wings spread wide. Wings that guard. Wings that enfold. For the people of Egypt, to call her name was to call safety. Sailors painted her eye on their ships. Mothers whispered to her over cradles. Farmers honored her at dawn. She is not far. She is the breath that protects, the presence that consoles. Close your eyes and imagine her wings stretching over you. Feathers soft as night air, shadows gentle as rest. Her lullaby is silence, but within it you feel whole. Mat, the feather of balance now, let us drift into the halls of judgment, the place where every soul lays down its truth. Here sits Ma'at. Her crown is a single feather. Light, delicate, yet strong enough to measure the worth of kings, Ma'at is balance. She is order, truth, justice, not a punishment, but harmony. She is the river's flow, the turning of the seasons, the beating of the heart. In the chamber of souls, the heart of the departed was weighed against her feather, not to condemn, but to see if it was light, if it carried honesty, if it was free from the weight of lies. Myat whispers, live with balance, speak with truth, act with kindness, for the universe itself rests upon her scales. She is not harsh, she is not cold. She is the calm of knowing everything has its place. Every dawn follows night, every seed follows rain, every breath follows silence. Imagine now her feather falling gently in the air, floating, slowly, without sound. It lands in your heart and your chest feels lighter. Your breath slows. The balance of Ma'at settles softly within you, and so along the Nile the hidden mothers stand, the laughter of the sky. Isis, the wings of devotion. Ma'at, the feather of balance. Together, they form a circle of care. One brings joy, so life is sweet.
One brings protection, so life is safe.
One brings balance, so life is true. In their presence, the kings of Egypt bowed. In their presence, the farmers prayed. In their presence, children slept peacefully under the wide Egyptian sky. Even now, their temples remain, carved in stone, painted in colors faded by time. But their essence is not gone. It lingers in stories. It lingers in the hush of the river, in the glow of the moon, in the memory of mothers everywhere. Now the night deepens. The oil lamps dim. The Nile continues its endless song. You rest within its rhythm. The hidden mothers surround you. Their presence is quiet but enduring. They ask for nothing. They give without measure. Breathe slowly. Feel the sky of Hathor above you, the wings of Isis around you, the feather of Ma'at within you. All is safe. All is gentle. All is balanced. Let the river carry you now. Let the stars guide you. Let the mothers of Egypt hold you in their timeless care. And as the night carries on, let your spirit drift onward, softer and softer, until only rest remains. The night breathes slowly. The stars shimmer above the mountains of Greece like candles in the endless sky. A soft wind drifts across olive groves. The silver leaves move gently, whispering secrets to one another, as though they remember what the stones and rivers once knew. Here, in the stillness of twilight, you drift into the heart of the ancient land. The air is rich with memory. Temples rise against the horizon, their marble touched by moonlight. The sea, not far away, sends a hush of waves upon the shore. This is the land of mysteries, the land where gods and mortals met, where stories were carved in song, and where secret rites were held beneath the gaze of silent stars. Step softly now, for we enter the circle of Greek mysteries, a place of birth and death, of seeds and harvests, of mothers and daughters, a circle eternal, woven in silence, woven in night. First, the story turns to Demeter. She is the goddess of the harvest, the keeper of grain, the mother of fertile earth. Her hair is golden as ripened wheat. Her robe is green as spring fields. Every stalk of barley, every cluster of grapes, every loaf of bread is her gift. The farmers looked to her with quiet prayers. They pressed seeds into the soil, trusting her to guard them. For without her blessing, the land would grow barren and hunger would follow. Yet she is not only the giver of food, she is the mother heart of the earth itself. In her embrace, all life is nourished. Her arms are wide, holding the people, the animals, and the fields as though they were children sleeping in her lap. But every mother has a child. Demeter's daughter was Persephone, bright as spring blossoms, gentle as the first light after winter. She wandered meadows, gathering flowers into her hands. Her laughter was the song of youth, yet the world is a circle. Even joy must meet shadow. One day, as she reached for a bloom, the ground opened, and the god of the underworld rose. Hades took her to his realm, where sunlight never reached, and shadows had no end. The earth mourned. Demeter searched for her child. Her tears fell as rain, but she refused to let the fields grow. Seeds waited in silence, unwilling to sprout. The people hungered, and the land grew still. Yet Persephone was not gone. In the underworld, she sat upon a dark throne, but her spirit carried both sorrow and strength, for in her the cycle of life turned. She became queen of the unseen, not only maiden of blossoms, but also mistress of the silent realm. At last, a balance was made. Persephone would dwell part of the year with her mother and part of the year in the land below. When she returned to the earth, Demeter rejoiced. Grain sprouted, flowers opened, the air grew warm. Spring and summer stretched wide, and the land was alive. But when Persephone descended again, the earth sighed. Leaves fell, winds turned cold, and winter lay across the fields. This was the circle, the mystery of life and death, the rhythm of loss and return, the breath of the world itself. Every seed must fall into darkness, hidden beneath the soil. Yet from that stillness life rises again. So Persephone's journey was also the journey of all things, a reminder that endings are also beginnings. The mysteries of Eleusis. The people of Greece did not only tell this story, they lived it. In secret places by torchlight, they gathered for rites known as the mysteries of Eleusis. There, no words were spoken beyond the circle. The rites were hidden, kept in silence, passed only through devotion. It is said that they walked in darkness. It is said that they witnessed symbols of the seed, the grain, the eternal return. And it is said that they left the mysteries with hearts lighter, spirits calmer, no longer fearing death. For they understood what Demeter and Persephone had shown, that all life moves in cycles, that every shadow leads to dawn, that the earth herself cradles both silence and song. Symbols beneath the stars imagine the gathering. Torches flicker, casting gold upon stone walls. Drums beat softly, like the pulse of the earth. The air is thick with the scent of herbs, with the sound of low chants carried on the wind. Above them, the stars shine clear. Each star a witness, each constellation a story. The sky itself becomes a temple, and the night becomes a veil through which the eternal can be touched. The people stand in silence, feeling themselves part of something endless. They are the seed falling into soil. They are the sprout rising into light. They are Demeter, mourning and rejoicing. They are Persephone, descending and returning. The circle is whole. The mystery is complete, and so the tale drifts onward. Demeter, the golden mother, still blesses the fields. Persephone, the maiden of both flower and shadow, still walks between worlds. Their story lingers in every spring blossom, in every winter silence. It whispers in the grain that grows from the earth. It whispers in the stars that shine above the night. You too are part of the circle, part of the breath, the return, the endless rhythm of life. Rest now in its gentle turning. Feel the seed within you settle into the quiet soil. Feel the blossom of peace rise slowly in your heart. The night is soft. The stars are kind. The mothers of Greece watch over you. Now drift onward, deeper and deeper, as the winds of the ancient land carry you to rest. Sleep in the circle. Sleep in the mystery. Sleep in the eternal embrace of night. The night opens wide above the desert. The stars shine clear, scattered like silver dust across the endless sky. The moon glows, pale and calm, casting a soft sheen on the sands. The dunes rest like waves of a silent sea, their curves smooth, their edges glowing faintly in the cool light. A wind drifts low, carrying the faint scent of dry earth and distant myrrh. It brushes across the traveler's face, gentle as a whisper, soft as a mother's hand. The desert is still, and yet beneath this stillness stories breathe, old as the sand itself, older than the stones scattered across the valleys. Here the people once looked to the sky, to the shifting sands, to the hidden springs of water, and found the shapes of the divine. They spoke of three sisters, goddesses who guarded fate, who offered protection, and who stood as rose blossoms in the wide emptiness of the desert night. First, there was Alet. Her name meant the goddess, simple, strong, unshaken. She was the white lady of the desert, linked to the warmth of the sun, the nourishment of grain, the fullness of life. Her presence was said to soften the hardness of the land. Where the soil cracked, she was remembered in offerings of barley and dates. Where caravans moved, her name was spoken for blessing. She was the gentle rose in the heart of the desert. Imagine a shrine made of stone blocks, standing in a quiet oasis. Palm trees bend above it, their shadows rippling over clear water. Travelers pause, untying their burdens, laying down gifts of flour, of milk, of incense. Their prayers rise in the smoke, curling toward the sky. They believe Al-Lat hears them. A mother of the land, a provider of strength. A silent rose blooming in the dry soil of Arabia, but not all deserts are gentle. Not all winds are soft. There is strength in the storm, in the wild cry of the falcon, in the sudden strike of lightning across the sky. This strength was Al-Uzza. The name meant the mighty. She was worshipped in stones, in trees, in sacred groves where the desert met green life. Her symbol was often the lioness, fierce and untamed, a protector of tribes. a force that walked beside warriors when battles rose beneath the burning sun. To call upon Al-Uzza was to call upon courage. Her name was etched into hearts like a shield. Her memory gave the weary a flame to hold in the dark night. And yet her strength was not only for battle. She was also the guardian of those who journeyed. Caravans spoke her name when they crossed dangerous paths. Her power was a lantern in the wilderness. Close your eyes, and you may feel her presence. A fierce star above the desert, watching, guiding, unshaken. And then there was Manat, the eldest of the three. She was the goddess of time, of destiny, of the final measure of all things. Her name was spoken softly, for she was not to be called without care. She ruled the unseen thread of life, the passage of days, the moment when one journey ended and another began. Her symbol was the black stone, smooth, ancient, resting in sacred places by the sea. Pilgrims once journeyed to her shrines, seeking her favor, offering their hopes into her keeping. Manat was both comfort and shadow. She reminded the people that nothing lasts forever, that all rivers find the sea, that all footprints fade into sand. Yet she also whispered that endings are not empty. Every grain of sand, every fallen star, returns to the circle of being. To dream of Manat was to feel the quiet truth of life's gentle passing. Sisters of the sand together. The three goddesses were honored as sisters. Alat, the mother, Al-Uzza, the strength, Manat, the fate. They were the desert rose, 3 petals on one stem, each offering a gift to those who wandered the shifting lands. At night, tribes gathered around fires. Stories were told in their names. Hands lifted toward the stars, voices rising into the open sky. Their presence was not distant, but close, woven into the breath of wind, into the pulse of the sand, into the lives of those who called the desert home. When storms passed, their memory lingered. When wells ran dry, their blessings were sought. When journeys ended, their names were spoken in farewell. The desert itself became their temple. The dunes, rising and falling, were like the folds of a vast robe. The stars above were jewels set in their crown. Every palm tree, every spring, every flicker of torchlight was their symbol. And so the people felt surrounded, not alone in the vast silence, but carried, protected, held by the rose sisters of the sands. Now, let the image soften. See the dunes resting under moonlight. See the stars watching, patient and kind. The desert breathes slowly, like a cradle rocking in the night. The three sisters remain, their presence eternal, woven into the whispers of the sand. Alat, the giver, Al-Uzza, the protector, Manat, the keeper of fate. You are safe within their circle, safe within the desert's quiet song, safe within the rose that blooms in silence and eternity. Rest now as the sands grow cool. Rest now as the moon lowers toward the horizon. Rest now as the stars return to their hidden chambers. Drift onward, gentle traveler, into sleep, into stillness, into the embrace of the desert rose. Softness gathers like a veil over the desert. The night has passed, and in the east, a pale glow begins to climb. The stars retreat one by one, leaving the sky to the tender embrace of dawn. The dunes are quiet, their lines drawn by winds long gone, their shapes like frozen waves of gold. A hush rests over the land, as if all creation waits for the first breath of morning. Here, in this stillness, the story of light begins. The desert has always listened to light. By day, it burns with a brilliance that humbles the eyes. By night, the moon shines as a guide for caravans, silvering the shifting sands. In early Islam, this light took on a new meaning. It was not only fire, not only the sun, not only the moon. It became a symbol of the divine presence, a radiance that touched both heart and soul. The word was nur, a gentle sacred brightness, not the light that blinds, but the light that reveals, the kind of glow that rests upon water at twilight, the kind that enters a room quietly through a small window, the kind that seems to shine from within a soul at peace. Imagine the earliest believers standing beneath an open sky. No temple of stone enclosed them. The earth was their floor, the heavens their roof, and above them, the moon was thin and curved, a crescent cradling the night. This slender shape would one day become a symbol of Islam itself, a mark of renewal, of cycles, of the tender balance between night and day. The crescent moon was not loud. It did not blaze like the full orb. It whispered instead. It spoke of beginnings, of the soft birth of light out of darkness, just as the new faith itself emerged, not yet strong in number, but shining with a clarity that grew brighter each dawn. In the Quran, the imagery of light unfolds like poetry. A lamp in a niche, a flame sheltered from the winds, oil so pure it shines even without fire. The heart becomes the vessel, the spirit becomes the flame, and divine presence, invisible, endless, kind, becomes the light that guides all paths. For the weary traveler, this symbol was no abstraction. In the desert, to be without light was to be lost, and so divine light became a promise of direction, a lantern for both the road and the soul. It was guidance, protection, and mercy. It was the gentle hand leading one through shadow. In this light, another figure glows. Maryam, the mother of Isa. Her name rests softly in the Quran, her story honored with love and reverence. She is seen not only as a mother, but as a symbol of purity, a vessel chosen for grace. Her devotion, her stillness, her quiet strength become a kind of light themselves. Picture her in prayer, hands folded, heart lifted, a woman alone yet never abandoned, a soul surrounded by the mercy of God. Her story carried through the desert winds, whispered in the tents of the faithful, sung in the hearts of those seeking peace. She became a mirror for all who longed for closeness to the divine, a figure radiant not by power, but by surrender. Maryam's purity was not fragility. It was strength without violence, firmness without cruelty. She became a rose of faith in a land of stone, her fragrance subtle, her petals everlasting. And in the tapestry of Islam, her name shines with the same gentle light that illuminates the night sky. The desert is a place of silence, yet within silence, light speaks. The shimmer of stars above is a reminder of eternity. The slow rising sun is a reminder of renewal. The crescent moon is a reminder of patience. And the glow within the heart, Nur, is a reminder of the divine presence that never fades. Imagine lying beneath the sky at night. The sand cool beneath you, the air thin and fragrant with desert herbs, the fire of the day long gone, leaving only the softness of moonlight. You gaze upward, and the stars appear as lanterns hung by unseen hands, each one a spark of memory, each one a guide to travelers, each one a quiet companion for the restless soul. In early Islam, the stars themselves were seen as signs, not masters of fate, but reminders of order, patterns in the endless sky. They shimmered like verses, silent words written across the dark, and those who looked upon them felt a hush of belonging. In those days, the first communities gathered. They rose before dawn, their voices weaving together in prayer. And when they bowed beneath the first light of morning. The horizon blushed pink, then gold, and the dunes reflected the heavens. Each prayer was like a pearl placed in the necklace of time. Each day began not with noise, but with the whisper of faith. The image of divine light grew with them. It was in their words, their gestures, their silence. The mosque became a space of light, open courtyards filled with sky, lamps glowing softly at night, windows designed to welcome the sun. Even in architecture, the faith remembered its symbol. Light flowing freely, gentle, endless, pure. As you listen, imagine this desert once more. The dunes stretch without end. The wind carries whispers of forgotten prayers. The crescent moon hangs above, a silver cradle in the sky. Somewhere, a lantern glows at the entrance of a tent, its flame steady, its warmth small yet sure. This lantern is the heart of the story. It does not rage. It does not consume. It burns quietly, offering safety, offering peace. So too does divine light burn within the soul. Not a storm, not a blaze, but a calm glow that asks for stillness. Maryam stands again in this glow. She is remembered not with noise, but with reverence. Her faith is like the crescent, gentle, curving, luminous in darkness. Her patience is like the desert, enduring, silent, timeless. She remains a figure who teaches without speaking, a guide whose purity shines softly across generations. And the crescent moon above her remains, marking the rhythm of time, the cycles of prayer, the balance of shadow and light. Let your mind rest in this vision, a horizon painted with dawn, a sky lit by stars, a crescent moon holding the night like a cradle, a lantern flickering at the tent's edge, a word, Nur, that carries the essence of divine presence, and within it all, a mother, Maryam, her spirit radiant with purity, her story carried like a lullaby through centuries. Now, let the light guide you into rest. It does not dazzle. It does not command. It simply glows, steady and soft, like the moon watching over the desert, like the stars scattered in silence, like the first ray of dawn upon the sand. Let the light remain with you, gently, quietly, endlessly. Now close your heart to the weight of day. Let your breath move like a breeze across the dunes. Let your thoughts fade like stars at sunrise. And as the desert rests, you too may rest. For the light will remain. The crescent will return. The dawn will rise again. Now drift as the nur of peace surrounds you. Now sleep as the desert sky grows calm. The night is deep. The sky lies quiet, its dark fabric woven with silver stars. The world feels covered, as though the heavens themselves wear a veil. Soft winds drift through the desert, brushing against tents, swaying the edges of cloth. Lanterns glow faintly within, their light softened, never piercing the night too strongly. There is mystery in this covering, a sense of hidden things waiting gently, without rush, without demand. Here begins the story of the veil. The veil has always been more than cloth. It is a symbol, a whisper of something unseen, a bridge between what is revealed and what remains hidden. It holds both secrecy and protection, both distance and closeness. In the ancient world, veils were worn by queens, by priestesses, by those who entered sacred spaces. The fabric did not only cover the face, it covered power, beauty, divine presence. It turned the ordinary into the extraordinary, transforming a moment into a mystery. Imagine a temple in Mesopotamia, the air heavy with incense, the shadows trembling with candlelight. The goddess is unseen, yet her image stands cloaked. Silk, dyed deep with purple, hangs before her statue. No mortal eyes rest directly upon her. Only through the veil is she known. To look at her was not the point. To feel her nearness beyond sight was the truth. The veil here became a threshold. To cross it was to step from the world of dust into the world of eternity. Later in Arabia, cloth held other meanings. The Kaaba itself, that ancient house in the desert, was wrapped in a covering. Black fabric draped its sides, moving gently in the wind. It was a sign of sanctity, a gesture of reverence. The cloth did not conceal its presence, but gave it dignity. It told the world, this place is not bare stone. This place is holy ground. The sacred garment was not only worn by people, but by houses of prayer, by the very heart of faith. In early Islam, the veil was remembered as more than a covering. It became a symbol of separation between the human and the divine. The Quran speaks of the day when God addressed Moses, from behind a veil. The mountain trembled, the earth shook, yet the divine presence was not revealed directly, only through a veil of distance, a shield of mercy. For the human heart is tender, and full light would have been too much to bear. The veil, then, was not denial. It was kindness. It allowed the soul to approach, step by step, without being consumed. Mystics of later centuries carried this vision further. For them, the veil was not only fabric. It was the unseen curtain between the seeker and the beloved. The world itself became a veil. The body became a veil. Even thoughts, even desires, were veils covering the face of truth. And so they spoke of unveiling, not as removal of cloth, but as gentle lifting, layer by layer, until nothing stood between the soul and the divine. Each act of kindness lifted one veil. Each prayer lifted another. Each moment of silence pulled aside a corner of the fabric, until, at last, the soul stood in radiance, no longer hidden, no longer distant. But veils were not only about the divine. They were also about the human heart. In the desert, where sandstorms rose quickly, veils shielded the face. In courts of kings, veils spoke of dignity and privacy. In families, they became signs of modesty and grace. Each fold of fabric carried meaning. Each gesture of covering was a language. To cover was not always to deny beauty. It was to guard it, to hold it close, like a secret jewel that shines brighter because it is not shouted into the world. Think again of the night sky. It too wears a veil. The stars shine through it, but not all at once. They peek, they shimmer, they hide, they reveal. The moon moves through its phases, half hidden, half shown. The world does not complain of its mystery. It rests in it. It learns patience from it. The veil of night is soft protection. It tells the weary to rest. It shields the earth with shadow so the body may heal. And just as night veils the earth, so the veil in faith and culture offers shelter to the soul. In sacred stories, the veil often comes before revelation. It is not the end, but the beginning. When Miriam received the angel's message, she withdrew behind a veil. In her solitude, in her quiet covering, the divine promise reached her. Her veil of separation was the very space where light entered. So too, in many traditions, to step behind the curtain of the temple was to meet the mystery. The cloth was never only a barrier. It was also a doorway. Imagine yourself now in a quiet chamber, the air cool, a faint fragrance of rose lingering. Before you hangs a curtain, woven from threads of silver and blue. On the other side lies silence, deep and holy. You do not rush to lift it. You simply sit near it. You breathe. You feel its presence. The veil moves slightly with the air, like the slow breathing of the world. Its stillness comforts you. Its mystery soothes you. It says, there is more, but not all at once. There is beauty, but it comes gently. Wait and it will be shown. The veil, then, is both seen and unseen. It is fabric, but it is also symbol. It is protection, but it is also invitation. It is modesty, but it is also power. It allows closeness while preserving mystery. Across the centuries, people have wrapped themselves in cloth not only for warmth, but for meaning. Kings wore it as majesty. Brides wore it as promise. Worshippers wore it as humility. And each time the veil was drawn, it spoke a quiet language. There is something precious here. Do not rush. Do not take lightly. This is sacred ground. And so, the veil remains woven into the fabric of faith and memory. It hangs in temples, in homes, in the heart itself. It reminds us that mystery is not emptiness. It is fullness beyond sight. It reminds us that what is hidden is not lost. It waits, it rests, like a pearl within its shell, like dawn behind the horizon, like the soul within the body. Now the night deepens. The stars shine more faintly. The moon begins its slow descent. The desert lies wrapped in its own vast covering of silence. And you too are wrapped. In blankets, in rest. In the gentle veil of sleep that approaches. Let the veil protect you. Let it soften your thoughts. Let it close the distance between wakefulness and dream. For veils are not only in temples, they are here too, in this very moment, surrounding you with comfort. Now drift, like the moon behind clouds. Now rest like the temple behind its curtain. Let the veil of night close gently around you. And as it falls, know that light waits beyond it, patient and kind. Let us drift onward. The night is still. The stars breathe softly above, like quiet lamps hung in the endless sky. The wind moves gently through unseen leaves, a whisper across the desert, a song carried from long ago. You drift into this sound as though resting beneath a great tree, its branches wide, its roots deep. A tree that is more than wood and leaf. A tree that is memory. A tree that is prayer. This is the sacred tree. Its trunk stands at the center of many worlds. Its branches stretch across stories and time. Wherever people sought meaning, they found its shade. In Sumer, long before history's pages, priests carved its image into stone, the tree of life, with roots curling into the earth, branches rising into the heavens. Kings were shown standing beside it, seeking wisdom, seeking strength. The tree was not only a plant, but a ladder of being, a bridge from dust to eternity. Every leaf was a sign of growth, every root a reminder of hidden foundations. The people believed it joined earth and sky, linking the human heart to the divine throne. Farther along the river Nile, Egypt too dreamed of trees. They spoke of the sycamore, standing at the gates of dawn. They told of a celestial tree that offered water to the souls of the dead. In paintings on tomb walls, branches stretched wide, and from them hands extended cups of clear water, a gift for thirsty spirits on their journey into eternity. The tree was motherly, its shade like an embrace, its fruit like blessing. It whispered to the traveler, "You are not alone. The path continues. Here is comfort for the road." In Greece, under blue skies and white stone, another sacred tree rose. The olive tree, ever green, ever patient. Athena gave it as a gift to the city of Athens, a symbol of peace, of endurance, of wisdom. It grew slowly, but it lived long. Its oil burned in lamps, offered light in the darkness. Its fruit gave food. Its branches crowned the victors. To sit beneath an olive tree was to rest in timelessness, to feel the quiet persistence of life. The Greeks saw in its roots a mirror of their own journey. Storms might come, but the tree endured. Seasons might pass, but the tree remained. A reminder that the soul too was meant to grow steady, to last, to rise again. In Arabia, in the verses of the Quran, there is mention of another tree, the tree of immortality. It stood in the first garden, a test, a mystery. Its fruit carried lessons that shaped the destiny of humankind. Though veiled in story, its roots still reach us. It reminds us that longing and choice are also part of the human path, that even in falling, there is guidance. Even in exile, there is promise. Later, the Quran spoke of the blessed tree, a tree without east or west whose oil is clear, almost glowing by itself. It became the image of divine light, a lamp shining in the heart of the faithful. The tree here was not only in gardens of old, it was within the soul. Its branches stretched into prayer, its roots into remembrance. Each believer carried it inside, a living flame of connection. The tree appears again and again, woven into the stories of many peoples. Always it stands at the center. Always it joins what is above to what is below. Its branches are heaven's fingers, its roots are the earth's veins. Between them rests the human being, half of dust, half of breath, held in the shade of eternity. Think now of the tree as spirit, each branch a path, each leaf a soul, each bird resting in its shade a prayer returning home. The tree does not hurry. It grows in silence. It teaches without words. Its gift is patience, its wisdom is endurance. To lean against its trunk is to lean against time itself, to feel centuries humming softly through the grain of its bark. The mystics called it the tree of being. Some said it grew in paradise. Some said it rose in the heart. Some said it was hidden in the unseen world, its branches spreading across creation, its roots drinking from the spring of mercy. In dreams, they saw birds fly upward through its branches, souls ascending from one stage to another, from earth to sky, from form to light. Every step upward was another layer of awakening, another veil lifted. The tree was not only wood, it was the path itself. Even now the tree waits in every garden. It waits in every forest, every orchard, every memory of childhood shade. It waits by rivers, by mountains, by deserts. Wherever a tree stands, the sacred tree is remembered. Perhaps you have sat beneath one once, listening to its leaves. Perhaps you have leaned your back against its trunk, closing your eyes, feeling its strength. In that moment, you touched the story told for thousands of years. You rested in its eternal shade. Let the image grow clear now. You are lying beneath a vast tree. Its canopy stretches high, leaves moving gently with the wind. The air is cool here, the light filtered and soft. Roots spread wide beneath you, cradling the earth. Above, branches weave like a net of stars, each leaf holding a glimmer of light. The tree breathes slowly. You breathe with it. Its strength becomes your strength. Its peace becomes your peace. Its silence carries you deeper into rest. In time, the tree drops fruit. Not all at once, but one by one. Each fruit is a gift, a memory, a lesson. Some are sweet, some bitter, all nourishing. Life is like this. The tree teaches without speaking. The tree gives without asking. The tree remains long after seasons pass, and when night deepens, the tree does not sleep. It stands watchful like a guardian. Its trunk holds the stories of ages. Its roots carry whispers from the deep earth. Its branches cradle dreams. It tells you, without words, you are not separate. You are part of the whole. You are a branch, you are a leaf, you are the breath moving through its shade. What is eternal flows also through you. The stars overhead glimmer faintly as though caught in the highest branches. The air grows cooler, the world more still. The sacred tree holds you close, its shadow soft as a blanket, and you drift, not falling, but floating deeper into rest, like a leaf surrendering to the wind, like a bird folding its wings at dusk. You let go. You let the tree carry you, cradle you, hide you within its timeless shade. Now sleep, as the roots of eternity hold you. Now rest, as the branches of heaven cover you. Now drift onward, as the sacred tree keeps watch, ancient and patient, forever whispering. Let us drift onward. Now rest, as the stars return to their hidden branches. The night opens like a gentle book. Its pages are dark, yet filled with light. Above, the moon hangs in silence, round, soft, and glowing. It drifts across the sky like a lantern carried by unseen hands. The air is cool. The earth rests beneath its silver glow. Water shimmers like glass. Leaves breathe softly in the hush of night. The moon is present, always watching. It does not speak, yet it comforts. It is a mirror for the soul. It is the companion of dreamers. It is the guardian of rest. The moon has long been seen as feminine, a motherly light circling above. Where the sun blazes and commands, the moon whispers and soothes. It does not demand, it invites. It does not blind, it reveals. It does not rush, it flows in phases, changing slowly, as life changes too. In the old lands of Sumer, the moon belonged to Inanna, the radiant goddess who held both power and tenderness. Her story was woven with stars, her spirit bound to the cycles of the sky. She moved through shadow and light, teaching that life too is both ascent and descent, both fullness and emptiness. To look upon the moon in Sumerian nights was to remember Inanna's journey, her strength in descent, her rising again, her promise that endings are never final. The moon mirrored her, shining fully, then retreating, only to return. In Greece, the moon wore another name. She was Artemis, the huntress of the quiet woods. She was light in the deep forest, protector of the wild, guardian of maidens and mothers. Artemis walked where men did not tread. She was freedom under the sky, a spirit untamed. Her bow glimmered like a crescent moon, curved and sharp. She taught reverence for life, for the soft steps of deer, for the song of the river at night. The Greeks lifted their eyes to the moon and saw Artemis running across the heavens, a torch guiding travelers, a shield of purity, a silent sister to the stars. In Egypt, the moon glowed with another face. It belonged to Isis, the Great Mother, goddess of healing and rebirth. She was the moonlight upon the Nile, cool and nourishing. Her spirit flowed in the tides, her love in the rhythm of the waters. The people believed that Isis watched over them in the dark of night. Her light was hope, her presence a comfort. When the moon returned after absence, it was Isis reborn, reminding the soul that life always returns, that death is never the end. In her glow, the Egyptians found safety. In her calm, they found the eternal embrace of a mother who never abandons. Centuries passed. The moon remained. In deserts and cities, in villages and mountains, people still looked up. In Islam, the crescent moon rose as a symbol, thin yet powerful, a curve of light holding the vast sky. The crescent was a mark of guidance, a sign of renewal. Each new moon carried the beginning of a sacred month, the marking of time by light, not by shadow. It taught patience, the watching of the sky, the waiting for the first sliver to appear. The crescent was not merely a shape, it was remembrance, that even the smallest light is enough to begin again. Across all traditions, the moon is more than stone and shadow. It is the mirror of the feminine spirit. It is a cycle that carries the soul, waxing, waning, fullness, emptiness, returning always. The moon teaches that change is holy, that loss is not forever, that what fades returns, that what darkens will shine again. Rest now beneath its glow. You are lying beneath the night sky. The moon is high, its silver light like a blanket spread gently across the earth. Clouds move slowly, but the moon remains. Its glow falls on rivers, on mountains, on quiet fields, on your resting face. You breathe with it. Calm, slow, steady. As the moon drifts across the sky, your thoughts drift with it, soft as feathers carried by the wind. The moon is a mother to wandering souls. She listens without words. She sees without judgment. She keeps company with the lonely. She guides the lost home. every tide that rises and falls, every seed that drinks the night's dew, every dreamer who lifts their eyes in silence. All are held in her rhythm. The moon is the pulse of the night. The moon is the breath of the world. Think of the moon as a cup, filled and emptied, yet never broken. It teaches you to hold life the same way, to accept fullness without clinging, to accept emptiness without fear. For both are natural, both are sacred, both pass and both return. Now the night deepens. The stars surround the moon like children around a mother. Their lights are small, but together they shine. The moon moves slowly and the earth turns gently beneath her gaze. You feel her presence, soft as water, steady as stone. She carries you into dreams with her silver hands. She rocks you in her cradle of light. She hums without sound. Let the moonlight fall on you now. Let it wash away the weight of day. Let it cool the fire of thought. Let it smooth the edges of worry. The moon is here. She has always been here. She will always return. As your breath grows slower, as your body sinks into rest, the moon drifts onward across the sky. Her light will guard you. Her presence will remain. Sleep as Artemis walks in the stars. Sleep as Isis spreads her wings. Sleep as Inanna rises again. Sleep as the crescent glimmers above the desert. The moon and the feminine spirit are always circling, always near, always tender. Now drift as the night carries you deeper. Now rest as the moonlight holds you. Now dream as the feminine spirit watches above, silent, eternal, ever gentle. Let us drift onward. Now rest as the moon returns to its quiet throne of sky. The night is calm and the air is soft. You find yourself wandering in a dream where sand, stone, and starlight stretch far. Yet in the silence of this desert, a sound begins to whisper. Not the wind, not the distant drum of hooves, but water. A drop, a trickle, a flowing song beneath the earth. The desert listens, and so do you. For where there is water, there is life. Where there is water, there is mercy. Where there is water, there is the memory of birth. Across ages and lands, people have gathered by rivers, wells, and springs. They have bowed to the sound of water, offered thanks, and told stories of the divine. For water is not only to drink, it is a sign. It is a gift. It is a mirror of the womb itself, holding, nurturing, bringing forth. In Egypt, the Nile was called eternal. Its floods came with the turning of the year, rising quietly, spilling life into fields of gold. Without the Nile, there would be no harvest, no villages, no song in the temples. They believed the river carried the breath of gods, a living spirit flowing from source to sea. Its waters were not only for the body, but for the soul. The Nile was mother and father, provider and protector. Priests bathed in it at dawn, seeking purity. Families prayed along its banks, trusting its tide to feed them. The Nile was womb and cradle, birth and rebirth. When the moonlight touched the river, it glistened like liquid silver, a reminder that the waters of earth echo the waters of heaven. Further east, the Euphrates whispered through Mesopotamia. Its flow was strong and wide, shaping the cradle of civilization. Villages grew where it curved. Fields blossomed in its embrace. The people called it sacred, for it was not only water but promise. They told of a great garden where 4 rivers met, among them the Euphrates. This garden was not merely land, it was the dream of life itself, a place where the soul was close to its beginning, close to its maker. Every wave of the river carried memory. It spoke of beginnings, of seeds opening beneath soil, of children born to mothers, of nations rising on its banks. The Euphrates was a thread of history, woven from the womb of the earth, and in the sands of Arabia, a well was revealed, Zamzam. It appeared when all seemed lost, a spring of mercy in the barren land. The story tells of Hagar, wandering with her child, her feet burning upon the sand. Her heart was heavy with fear, for there was no water, no life, only endless desert. She ran between the hills, searching, crying, pleading. And in her moment of despair, a miracle was given. Water burst from the ground, clear, sweet, endless. The child was saved. The mother was comforted, and the desert became a place of blessing. To this day, pilgrims drink from Zamzam, remembering that the mercy of God flows like hidden streams, even when hope seems lost. Zamzam is womb in the sand, a well that never dries. Water always is motherly. It holds the unborn child. It surrounds with warmth, with safety, with quiet pulse. Before the first breath of air, there is the breath of water. And so rivers are like wombs, stretched wide across the earth. They cradle villages, they nourish crops, they carry boats like children upon their surface. They are patient, they are giving, they are eternal. To drink water is to return to the beginning. It is to sip from the memory of birth. It is to know mercy in its simplest form. Even wells, small and hidden, hold the same holiness. A well is a meeting place where people gather, where strangers are welcomed. Stories begin at wells, marriages, journeys, promises. From its depth, the unseen rises to the surface. From its dark, light is revealed in the ripple. A well is a womb within the earth, concealed yet always nourishing. Across faiths, water cleanses more than the body. It cleanses the heart, it clears the mind, it prepares the soul for prayer. In Egypt, priests stepped into the Nile at sunrise. In Mesopotamia, water was poured upon altars. In Arabia, before prayer, believers wash hands, face, feet, not only for purity, but for peace. The coolness of water upon the skin reminds the heart to be still. The touch of water calls the soul to humility. Listen now to the way water moves. It never resists. It flows where the earth shapes it. It bends, it curves, it yields, yet it wears down stone. It is soft yet unending. It is gentle, yet stronger than mountains. Water is mercy itself, showing strength through tenderness, showing power through patience. It is a teacher of how to live. Night deepens. You are by a river now. The stars tremble upon its surface. The sound of flowing fills your ears. It is like the sound of breath, slow, steady, endless. You imagine the Nile, the Euphrates, the well of Zamzam. You see how each stream, each drop is connected. All rivers are one river. All waters are one womb. All springs flow from the same mercy. Rest in this thought. You are a child of water. Your body carries it. Your heart depends on it. Your life is shaped by it. You are never far from its source. Even in deserts, it waits beneath the sand. Even in silence, it moves beneath the earth. Even in sorrow, it returns as mercy. Let the sound of water wash through you now. Let it cool your thoughts. Let it ease your breath. Let it carry you back, as though you are floating in the womb of creation itself. You drift as the river drifts. You rest as the well is still. You breathe as water breathes within the earth. Now the rivers fade into mist. The wells close gently like eyes. The sea of night stretches wide. But water remains within you, around you, always flowing, always nourishing. The Nile whispers of eternity. The Euphrates sings of beginnings. Zamzam glows with mercy. And within them all, the womb of creation cradles you to sleep. Let us drift onward. Now rest as the stars return, and the rivers of night carry you into dreams. Night settles slowly, as if the heavens are lowering a veil of soft indigo cloth across the earth. The last warmth of the sun fades behind distant hills, and in the quiet above, the first silver sparks begin to appear. Stars awaken, one by one, like gentle eyes opening in the sky. Their light is soft, yet steady. They do not speak, they do not stir. They simply remain as they have for countless ages, watching over the world below. The air grows still. A coolness settles across temples, across gardens, across wide rivers and wandering deserts. Those who look upward feel the silent company of the stars. They are not hurried, not loud. They are constant, a presence that has guided souls through ages of faith and longing. Tonight, as you rest, let us drift into their ancient light. In Babylon, the stars were read as letters of the divine. Priests climbed the great ziggurats, their steps slow, their robes whispering like waves against stone. At the top, close to the heavens, they lifted their eyes and watched. They believed each star was a message, a mark upon the eternal tablet of the night. Some were seen as guides for kings, some as omens for harvest, and some simply as reminders that no soul walked the earth unseen. For even when the city below was dark and silent, the stars above bore witness. Imagine the cool winds at that height. Imagine the flicker of torches far below, like smaller stars reflecting the sky. The priests stood in silence, hands raised, hearts steady. They did not need words. The stars were enough. Far from Babylon, on the sacred hills of Greece, oracles too looked upward. The stars were not only signs but companions. Artemis, the moonlit goddess of the hunt, was said to walk beneath them. She was never alone, for the stars were her endless court, her watchful sisters. Those who prayed to her felt that same presence. A woman kneeling in a small stone temple, oil lamp glowing beside her. could look beyond the roof's opening and see the night filled with stars. She would whisper her hope into the silence, and though no voice answered back, she felt seen. She felt heard, not by human ears, but by the quiet gaze of the sky. The oracles, when they breathed their messages, knew that truth was often hidden in stillness. Like stars, their words shone in fragments, never rushed, never forced. People traveled long distances to stand beneath those skies, to seek wisdom where silence was as deep as the heavens themselves. And in deserts far to the south, travelers looked to the stars for direction. Among them, in centuries that followed, worshippers of the one God would walk beneath the same sky. The Quran spoke of the stars as guides, both for journey and for reflection. At night, the faithful lifted their gaze and felt the stars as reminders of vastness. Each point of light was a witness to prayer, unseen by the world but held in eternity. The crescent moon and the endless stars together carried a softness, a rhythm of mercy. A shepherd in the open sands could whisper his devotion into the wind, and though no other person heard, the stars above bore witness. His prayer was not lost. Consider for a moment how the stars have no haste. They do not flicker in fear. They do not compete. They remain in place, holding a patient silence across ages. When temples crumble, when rivers change their path, when cities rise and fall, the stars remain. They are guardians of memory, silent witnesses of every prayer, every vow, every sigh spoken beneath their glow. In the stillness of the night, women have prayed for children, men have prayed for peace, leaders have prayed for wisdom, wanderers have prayed for home. The stars, wordless and steady, have carried all of these voices. They do not judge, they do not choose, they simply hold the echo in their light. Long before maps, sailors trusted the stars. The North Star, fixed and faithful, guided them across unknown seas. In those waters where no road could be drawn, the sky was the only compass. Imagine the dark waves stretching endlessly, the creak of wood, the hush of salt wind. A sailor lying awake on deck stared upward. The stars did not speak to him, yet they gave direction. They told him he was not lost, that even in the emptiest places the heavens were with him. So too, in the journey of spirit, the stars have been more than markers of distance. They have been lights of remembrance, each star a point of mercy, each star a sign of presence. There are stories told of women who sang to the stars. In Egypt, mothers held their infants and lifted them toward the night sky. They whispered the names of Isis, protector, and mother, believing the stars were her eyes watching over the child. In distant lands, lullabies often carried the same hope, that starlight would soothe, that it would guard sleep. Even now, a child gazes upward, and though they may not know the ancient myths, they feel comfort in the scattered silver lights above. For the stars do not belong to one faith, one people, or one time. They are given to all. They shine above gardens and deserts, above oceans and mountains. They shine for kings and for wanderers, for temples and for homes. Their silence is a bridge, joining past and present, east and west. Prayer and dream. Think of them now. Imagine lying on a soft hillside, the night air cool, the grass gentle beneath you. Above, the sky stretches wide, filled with endless stars. Some are bright, some faint, yet together they weave a pattern that feels eternal. You do not need to know their names. You do not need to read their meaning. It is enough to rest beneath them, to feel their quiet company. Breathe slowly. The stars do not hurry. Let their stillness be your own. Even when clouds pass, the stars remain, hidden yet not gone. So too with the divine, sometimes unseen yet always present. Faith, like the stars, can shine quietly, without force, without sound. It does not need to dazzle, it only needs to remain. And so, across Babylonian towers, across Greek oracles, across the sands of Arabia, the stars have been faithful witnesses. They have seen tears and laughter, vows and silence. They have guided journeys on land and sea. They have stood above altars and cradles alike. Tonight, as you rest, they remain. Above your own quiet space, stars shine. Perhaps you cannot see them through the roof above, yet their light reaches you all the same. Patient, gentle, eternal. Let their stillness cradle you. Let their silence guide you. The night is long, but never lonely. The stars keep watch, always. Now rest, as the stars return to their patient vigil. Drift with them into the quiet. Let them be witnesses of your dreams, silent companions of your breath. The night belongs to you as it belongs to them. Let us drift onward, carried by starlight, into gentle sleep. Night folds in upon itself, and the earth draws a deeper breath. The wind softens. The world grows hushed. Beneath mountains and hills there are places where silence gathers like water in a hidden pool. Caves, hollow chambers carved by time, wombs of stone, places where the breath of the earth seems to linger. To step inside such a place is to leave behind the noise of the world. In the quiet dark, there is only the pulse of your heart and the slow rhythm of your breath. Long ago, people sought these secret places. They lit small fires whose smoke curled against the rock above. They whispered prayers into the still air, trusting that within the womb of the earth the unseen divine was listening. Tonight, let us drift into the mystery of sacred caves. In ancient times, caves were seen as gateways. They were not merely empty spaces. They were thresholds. To enter a cave was to step into the belly of the earth, a place of beginnings. Women and men alike understood the cave as a mirror of life itself. Dark, hidden, protective, yet full of potential. Many early rituals honoring the feminine spirit were held in caves. The dark chamber reflected the mystery of birth. Just as life emerges from a hidden place, so too did prayers and visions emerge from the stillness of these stone chambers. Imagine torches flickering against damp rock. Imagine the faint echo of a drum, slow and steady, like the heartbeat of the earth. People gathered in circles, their shadows rising and falling along the cave walls. They told stories of mothers and goddesses, of the deep womb from which all life flows. In that darkness, they did not fear. They felt cradled, as if the stone itself held them in embrace. In the hills of Crete, myths tell of the god Zeus, born in a cave and hidden from danger. The cave became a place of protection, where the cries of a newborn god were muffled by stone and guarded by dancers who struck their shields to mask the sound. To the ancient heart, the cave was not barren but fertile. It was a shelter where life could grow in secret, unseen yet nurtured. Far across the land, in the sacred caves of India, yogis withdrew from the world. They sat in silence, their breath slow, their bodies still. The cave to them was the mind's inner chamber, dark, quiet, yet filled with light that no flame could give. When the noise of the outer world fell away, the soul could hear its own song. The silence was not emptiness, it was presence. Caves carried the memory of feminine strength. In early rituals, women stood at the heart of these chambers, keepers of mystery. They were linked to the cycles of earth, to the hidden and unseen. A well, a womb, a cave. Each was a vessel of life. When people painted upon cave walls, their art was more than memory. It was prayer pressed into stone. A handprint, a line of animals, a burst of color. It was as if they were speaking to the cave itself, knowing that stone remembers. Centuries later, another cave would become a place of divine whisper. High upon the mountain of light outside the city of Mecca lies the cave of Hira. It is a small chamber, quiet and hidden. The Prophet Muhammad sought solitude there, away from the noise of markets and crowds. In the stillness of that cave, he prayed. He listened. He let his heart settle into silence. And it was in that hidden place, wrapped in the earth's embrace, that the first words of revelation reached him. The cave was no longer only stone. It became a vessel of light. Even today, pilgrims climb to that chamber. They stand in the hush, feeling the weight of the silence. It is said that the cave itself teaches patience. Its narrow walls remind the soul of how small it is, how vast the sky outside can be, and how gentle the quiet becomes when one rests inside it. Think of how silence feels. Not empty, not cold, but full. In a sacred cave, the silence is deep enough to hold all things. It can hold prayer. It can hold sorrow. It can hold joy. Like a vast cup, the cave receives and does not spill. This is why seekers went there. They wished to place their hearts into the hands of the earth. They wished to return for a while to the womb from which they had come. In other lands, the caves of the Desert Fathers held monks who longed for God. Alone, they sang psalms into the stone. Their voices echoed softly, rising and fading like waves. Each echo was a reminder. They were not alone. The cave carried their song, returning it to them as if heaven itself were answering. And in the mountains of Tibet, hermits withdrew into high caves, where snow drifted at the mouth, and the air was thin. Wrapped in silence, they closed their eyes. Their breath became their only prayer. The cave sheltered them from the winds, and in that stillness, they felt embraced by the hidden presence that dwells in all things. The cave is always more than stone. It is symbol. It is memory. It is the hidden place within you where silence dwells. Just as the earth holds these chambers, so too does the soul hold its quiet rooms. When you close your eyes, when you drift into rest, you enter your own cave. The outer world falls away, and in the darkness behind your eyes, a gentle silence waits. It is not empty, it is full. It holds you as the earth holds all life. Imagine now that you walk towards such a cave. The air is cool. The entrance is low, and you bow your head to enter. Inside, the light fades. Shadows gather, soft and kind. The sound of the outside world disappears. Only stillness remains. You sit upon the stone floor, and your breath becomes your only companion. The cave surrounds you, not as a prison, but as a mother's arms. You feel safe. You feel hidden. You feel held. And in this space, you are not alone. For the walls of this cave have heard countless prayers before yours. They have held countless silences, countless hopes, countless tears. You are part of that long story now. The cave remembers, and in its remembering it comforts. Outside, the stars may turn. Rivers may flow. Cities may sleep. But within the cave, time softens. The moment stretches wide, as if eternity rests here. Your breath becomes steady. Your body grows light. The silence of the cave is a mirror, reflecting the silence that waits within you. Stay in that silence. Let it cradle you. Let it remind you of beginnings, of hidden strength, of gentle birth. The cave is not darkness, it is promise. It is the hidden seed waiting to grow. It is the womb of life, the chamber of spirit, the vessel of the divine. Now, as you drift deeper, imagine leaving the cave. Step out slowly. The night air greets you. The sky is wide again, filled with stars, but you carry the silence with you, like a soft lamp glowing inside. The cave has given you its gift. You will not lose it. Wherever you go, the inner chamber remains. And so, rest now. Rest in the silence of sacred caves. Rest in the womb of the earth, the womb of the spirit. Let the hush of stone cradle your dreams. The night is long, but silence is longer. Let us drift onward, carried by the stillness. Into gentle sleep, night stretches across the sky like a velvet cloak. Stars shimmer like gentle lanterns, and the earth sighs into silence. In this softened hour, the world feels close, as though all creatures breathe together in one rhythm. The listener rests, eyes closed, while the dream of story begins again. Tonight, let us wander through the quiet companionship of sacred animals, creatures who, across lands and faiths, have stood as guardians, guides and gentle protectors. Their feathers, their eyes, their soft hooves and wings were not seen as only flesh and bone. They were signs, living symbols of the divine. In the lands of the Nile, under the warm gaze of the Egyptian sun, the cow of Hathor was worshipped with tenderness. She was not only an animal, she was mother, giver of milk, nourisher of souls. Her great eyes were said to shine with kindness. Her horns curved like the crescent of the new moon. Within her form, the people saw safety. To stand near her image was to feel shielded, as though the universe itself leaned down to care for them. When weary travelers entered temples adorned with her shape, they found peace. The sound of flutes, the rhythm of drums, the fragrance of sweet oils filled the air. And in the quiet heart of the sanctuary, Hathor's gentle form reminded them that life could be tender, that even the strong needed comfort. Like the cow, patient and calm, protection was not always fierce. Sometimes it was soft. Sometimes it was quiet. Far from the Nile in the marble halls of Greece, another creature watched in silence. The owl of Athena, small, wide-eyed, steady in the night. Where others saw darkness, she saw clearly. The Greeks believed the owl carried wisdom, but also protection. To walk with Athena's owl was to be guided by sharp sight and careful steps. In stories, when battles loomed and uncertainty filled the air, the people looked to the owl's silent wings. If she flew above them, circling with patience, they felt assured. For Athena was near. The goddess of wisdom guarded them, not through brute force, but through clarity, foresight, and calm. Think of the owl as a lantern of the night, her eyes reflecting hidden light, her presence reminding mortals that in the darkness there is always guidance. The owl's soft wings did not startle. They soothed, a companion of silence, a guardian of hidden paths. And in the warm heart of Arabia, beneath the stars of Mecca, doves gathered. Even now they circle the Kaaba, white and unafraid, as if the sacred air itself belongs to them. Tradition holds that in the earliest days, these birds were untouched, safe, respected. They became symbols of divine peace, markers of sanctuary. Imagine standing there, watching them glide in circles, never hurried, never fearful. Their soft feathers catching the sunlight by day, the moonlight by night. In their presence, worshippers felt the nearness of mercy, for the dove does not harm. It carries no sword, no claw, no threat. Yet its very gentleness is protection, its stillness a shield. Across cultures, animals were never simply beasts of the field. They were messages, living metaphors. The lion roared not only with strength, but with the fire of kingship. The serpent coiled not only with danger, but with hidden wisdom. The horse ran not only with speed, but with freedom of spirit. And always there were those who embodied protection, sacred guardians who stood between the fragile human heart and the storms of the world. Think now of the gentle cat, beloved in Egypt, keeper of homes. They were not only companions, but protectors from unseen harm. Their eyes glowed like moons, watching both spirit and shadow. Even later, in many homes of faith, the cat became a friend of prayer, curling at the feet of worshippers, guarding their quiet devotion with silent presence. Think, too, of the dog, loyal across lands. In Greek myth, dogs guarded the underworld gates. In Islamic tradition, a faithful dog kept watch over the people of the cave, who slept in divine protection for centuries. These stories remind us that loyalty itself is sacred, a watchful companion fur against stone, guarding the vulnerable with patience. That too is a form of divine shield. Every creature in its way was seen as a reflection of what humans longed for: safety, comfort, wisdom, guidance. The cow gave milk, the owl gave sight, the dove gave peace, the cat gave quiet guardianship, the dog gave loyalty. Together, they whispered the truth that protection is never far. In sacred art and temple walls, these creatures were drawn beside gods and goddesses, not as servants but as companions. Hathor with her horns, Athena with her owl, the Kaaba with its doves, Isis with her wings outstretched, like a bird shielding her children. Even today, when people look upon these images, their hearts rest. For deep down, every soul knows we are never alone. The animals of the sacred world remind us that guardianship is not always loud or fierce. Sometimes it comes in silence, in soft feathers drifting on air, in the calm eyes of a cow, in the gentle coo of a dove, in the silent flight of an owl. Close your eyes now and imagine walking through a temple of old. The air is cool. The stone walls rise tall. Carvings of creatures surround you, their forms etched in gold and shadow. You feel their gaze upon you, not heavy, not frightening, but calm, protective, like guardians watching from beyond time. As you step deeper, you hear the distant echo of wings, a soft call of a bird, the gentle breath of an animal at rest. You are not alone. They walk with you. They circle you. They keep you safe. The night itself holds these guardians still. If you look upward, the constellations also take the shape of sacred animals. The bull of Taurus, the lion of Leo, the great bird of Aquila. The stars remind us what the ancients knew. Protection is written across heaven and earth, mirrored in creatures above and below. And so, as you rest beneath the blanket of night, know that you too are circled by guardians. Perhaps they are not seen with eyes. Perhaps they walk in dreams. Yet they are there, soft, patient, eternal. The cow with her tender gaze, the owl with her steady sight, the dove with her gentle wings, the cat with her quiet watch, the dog with his loyal heart. Each a reminder, each a symbol that protection surrounds you, always. Now, let the story soften.
Let the guardians return to their quiet places.
Let the wings fold. Let the hooves rest. Let the eyes close. The night deepens. Your breath slows. Sacred animals stand watch in silence as they have for centuries. You are safe. You are held. Let us drift onward, into the hush of sleep, where gentle guardians keep watch until dawn. The night is still. The stars hang like tiny lanterns above the quiet earth. A gentle wind moves through unseen branches, carrying the faint scent of blossoms and dust. Somewhere, a distant bell echoes once, then fades into silence. Here begins the story of light, not the light of the sun or of fire that destroys, but a softer flame, A flame that flickers gently, yet endures through centuries. A flame that belongs to temples, to shrines, to quiet corners of prayer. A flame that is devotion itself. In ancient temples of the East, oil lamps were lit at dusk. The air shimmered with the fragrance of incense, curling in soft threads toward the heavens. Each lamp was small, but together they filled the darkness with warmth. The flame was not only fire, it was a sign, a symbol of prayers rising, of spirits gathering, of hearts whispering silently to the divine. Imagine walking slowly into such a temple. The floor is cool stone beneath bare feet. The walls are painted with faded colors of gods and saints, and everywhere the lamps glow. Hundreds of tiny flames, each trembling softly, each alive with meaning. They do not burn with force, but with gentleness. They invite calm, not fear. They remind the heart that even the smallest light can keep the night from being empty. The flame has always been sacred. In Vedic hymns, fire was Agni the messenger. He carried offerings from human hands to the divine realms. Every spark was a bridge, every ember a connection. When the flames rose, so too did the prayers. And people felt protected, knowing their words traveled upward with the smoke. In Greek sanctuaries, a sacred flame was never allowed to die. Priests and priestesses kept constant watch, feeding the fire with patience. It was a flame of memory, a flame of protection, a flame of eternal presence. For if the fire lived, the people believed the gods were near. The flame was not only heat, it was breath, spirit, the heartbeat of the sacred ground. And in the Islamic tradition, there is the verse of light, a verse that speaks of a lamp within a niche, shining without being touched by fire. The lamp is enclosed in crystal, clear as a star. It shines by the will of the Eternal, guiding those who seek. This verse has echoed in the hearts of the faithful for centuries, whispered in prayer, recited in stillness. It is the reminder that divine light is not bound to flame alone. It is everywhere, within hearts, within moments, within every breath. To hear the words of this verse is to feel the hush of a candlelit room. It is to feel protected by a flame that never dies. It is to sense that within every soul there is a small lamp, sometimes hidden, sometimes glowing brightly, but always there, always waiting. The flame of devotion is more than fire. It is a symbol of constancy, of patience, of presence. It tells the weary heart, you are not alone in the dark. Imagine sitting before a single candle. Its flame dances gently, moving with the rhythm of the air. You watch and time slows. The mind softens. The noise of the world fades. All that remains is the quiet breath of fire. This is devotion. Not loud, not hurried, but steady, faithful, calm. In Buddhist temples, monks and pilgrims offer candles as gifts. Each flame is a wish for compassion, a prayer for peace. When placed together, they create a sea of light, like stars fallen to earth. The glow touches every face, softening the eyes, calming the voice. Each flame whispers of hope. Each flame says, may all beings be safe. In Christian churches, too, candles are lit. Each flame a symbol of prayer, a reminder that even in the deepest night, divine presence is near. The flames stand before icons and altars, steady and unwavering. Their warmth comforts those who kneel, carrying silent burdens, seeking mercy, longing for peace. The flame listens, the flame carries, the flame consoles. Across faiths and centuries, the flame has always guarded the heart. It has always promised that light will return, even after the longest night. The flame is memory. The flame is prayer. The flame is love expressed without words. Think now of the great festivals of light. Diwali in India, when lamps line the windows and doorways, guiding prosperity and joy into every home. Hanukkah in Jewish tradition, when candles are lit each night, remembering miracles, teaching faith across generations. These flames do not fade quickly. They live in memory. They live in story. They live in every hand that lights a new wick with care. There is something eternal about the act of lighting a flame. The match strikes, the wick catches, and suddenly, darkness has a companion. It is small, yet it changes everything. A reminder that no shadow is complete. A reminder that devotion can live in even the smallest gesture. And so the flame becomes a teacher. It teaches stillness, for to watch it is to calm the restless mind. It teaches patience, for it must be fed gently, never forced. It teaches humility, for it burns without pride, yet offers so much. And most of all, it teaches hope, that even the softest light can endure, even in endless night. Now imagine the oil lamp again. Its clay bowl rests in the palm of your hand. The wick leans gently, its tip glowing like a star. The flame moves as if it breathes with you. When you inhale, it leans closer. When you exhale, it steadies. You are joined. Your breath, your heart, your prayer, all reflected in that small flame. In that moment, you are not separate from the sacred. You are not distant. The divine is here. The divine is near.
In the flame.
In your breath, in the stillness of the night, the ancients knew this truth. That light is not only outside us, but within. That devotion is not only ritual, but presence. That a flame, however small, can guard the soul. So they kept their fires alive. Day after day, century after century. Temples and shrines glowed with steady flames, never allowed to die. For to let them fade was to forget, and to keep them alive was to remember. And now, as you rest in the quiet of this night, the same flame burns for you. Not in a distant temple, not in faraway lands, but here, in the stillness of your own heart. It glows with calm. It glows with care. It glows with devotion. You do not need to see it. You need only to feel it. The flame is here, guarding you, warming you, protecting you as you drift towards sleep. So let the story soften now. Let the lamps of old temples fade into memory. Let the incense curl upward, vanishing into the night sky. Let the flame remain steady and calm beside you. The night deepens. The stars return to their watch, and the eternal flame of devotion glows quietly, guiding you toward rest. Now rest, as the stars return. Now sleep as the flame keeps watch. Now drift onward into the gentle hush of dreams. The night deepens. The air is soft, carrying the cool hush of twilight. The stars rest above, silver and patient, as though listening. The earth breathes quietly, and within this stillness a presence lingers, ancient, eternal, tender. It is the spirit of the sacred feminine, not bound by time, nor tied to one land. She flows like water through all traditions, all hearts. She is the silence in caves, the shimmer of moonlight, the flame that flickers in prayer. She is within you now, guiding your breath toward calm. Since the earliest dawns, humankind has lifted its eyes to her symbols. In the soft curve of the moon she was seen. In the flowing river she was heard. In the earth's fertile soil she was felt. Always near, always nurturing. She was mother, guide, healer, and mystery. In Mesopotamia, she was Inanna, the queen of heaven. She walked between worlds, holding both the light of love and the depth of shadow. Her voice was the call of desire and devotion, the yearning of the soul to know more. Through her, the people learned that life is cycles: birth, growth, death, and return. In Egypt, she was Hathor, the gentle cow goddess. Her presence like the nourishing milk of the earth. She was music and dance, the joy of creation, the embrace that comforted the weary. Through her, people found delight in life's sweetness, even amid deserts and dust. In Greece, she was Athena, owl-eyed, steady in wisdom. Though fierce in battle, she carried the calm strength of strategy and clarity. Her symbols, olive trees, owls, the shining shield, spoke of guidance, protection, and insight. She reminded her people that wisdom itself can be a shelter. The feminine spirit was never only in names or figures, it was in nature itself. In the moon, she offered a rhythm to life, gentle and sure. Waxing, waning, hiding, and returning, she taught that nothing is lost forever. Even when unseen, she is still there, resting, renewing, waiting to rise again. In water, she offered passage and renewal. The rivers carried prayers, carried offerings, carried life itself. To bathe in water was to touch her blessing. To drink was to receive her care. And to stand beside a well or spring was to know her presence, quiet yet deep. In silence, too, she was found. In the still caves where seekers entered, in the shadows where prophets listened. The silence was not empty. It was full of her. She was the hush that heals the restless mind, the pause between words, the waiting embrace of mystery. In Islam, her spirit breathed through the reverence of Maryam, honored as pure and devoted. She was the mother who bore with patience, whose story was carried gently in Scripture. She was not loud, not forceful, but steady, a quiet flame of faith. Her presence reminded the faithful that devotion could be soft, yet unshakable. And in the verse of light, when the lamp is described in its niche, shining clear as a star, the eternal feminine is felt. For the flame glows in a vessel, delicate yet unbroken, carrying divine radiance. It is a reminder that the sacred often resides in gentle forms, in receptivity, in openness that receives and reflects light. Throughout time, the feminine spirit has been honored in the daily rituals of life, in the grinding of grain, in the weaving of cloth, in the care of children, in the tending of gardens. These were not small tasks. They were sacred acts, each a thread in the great tapestry of devotion. The sacred feminine whispered through them, reminding that the ordinary too can be holy. She was also present in the festivals of light and harvest, when lamps were lit at dusk, when fruits were gathered in season, when songs were sung under the moon. She lived in the laughter of gatherings, the tenderness of lullabies, the blessings spoken before meals. Always near, never gone, the eternal feminine spirit is not only in history, she is here now, in the breath that rises and falls in your chest, in the quiet beating of your heart, in the stillness that wraps around you as you prepare for rest. She is presence itself, soft, sustaining, timeless. Think of her as the moonlight that touches every window, even when unseen. Think of her as the water that moves beneath the earth, feeding roots, carrying life. Think of her as the flame that flickers gently, never hurried, never fading. She is the thread between all things, holding them with quiet strength. In dreams, she often appears, sometimes as a motherly figure, holding, sheltering, sometimes as a guide, pointing the way across a dark path, sometimes as the river itself, carrying the dreamer forward, gently, steadily, without fear. Always she is there. Even if the form changes, the presence does not. She is also within you. For every soul carries her imprint, her patience, her care, her wisdom, her silence. When you rest, you return to her. When you breathe, you draw upon her. When you open your heart, she moves through you. So tonight, as the night deepens, let the eternal feminine spirit cradle you. Let her symbols, light, water, moon, silence, gather around like soft blankets. The moon rests above, steady in her glow. The water moves gently, carrying away all heaviness. The flame flickers within, steady and warm, and the silence holds you, safe and whole. The sacred feminine still breathes in the soul of the world, in every star, in every river, in every whisper of wind. She has never left and never will. She is the eternal companion, the patient guardian, the hidden source of life. Now close the story softly. Let the ancient names fade into the hush of night. Let the moon shine quietly above. Let the rivers carry their songs to the sea. Let the flame burn within, calm and steady. The eternal feminine spirit lingers. She holds you in her care. She guides you into the quiet realm of dreams. Now rest as the stars return. Now sleep as the moon keeps watch. Now drift onward into the silence that heals.